Welcome to my channel. In this video, we will explore two core concepts in real property law that are fixtures and chattels and adverse possession. These are foundational topics in understanding land ownership, property boundaries and possessory rights under Australian law. Let's get started. The doctrine of fixtures states that goods annexed to land become part of the land itself. This principle is famously expressed as whatever is fixed to the soil becomes part of the soil. In Reed versus Smith, the court confirmed that intention plays a role in determining whether an item has become a fixture or not. To decide if something is a fixture or chattel, courts look at degree of annexation, that is, how attached the item is, and then they check the object of annexation, that is, why it was attached. In TEC Desert, the court held that the entire context must be considered. Fixtures can vary depending on context. In homes, things like shades and curtains may be fixtures. In commercial settings, it's often large items such as machinery or cabling. These examples show how context affects classification. The stronger the physical attachment, the more likely the item is a fixture. In Belgrave nominees, the court presumed attachment made an item a fixture. Elliston emphasized how difficult removal impacts classification. Courts also assess the object behind annexing the item, such as was it meant to enhance the land permanently or temporarily for use. In Lee versus Taylor, even attached items were not fixtures if they were not intended to merge with the property. As confirmed in Snowy Hydro, there is no universal test. Determining if something is a fixture requires weighing the full set of circumstances that are structure, use, attachment, and intention. Tenants can remove fixtures they have installed, like domestic or ornamental items, during their lawful possession. This right, outlined in Section 154A of the Property Law Act, is considered a legal property right and may even be transferred. Sometimes third parties have rights to remove fixtures, especially if a contract created equitable rights. These rights must be exercised in a reasonable time, especially if competing interests like mortgages are involved. Adverse possession means holding land for so long that the original owner can no longer legally recover it. The possessor gains a defense against claims and can eventually gain the title, provided factual and intentional possession are proven. Factual possession requires visible and peaceful control over land, done openly, not in secret, and without the true owner's permission. For example, fencing of land and using it as your own without consent is key. Intention to possess is about showing exclusive control, treating the land as your own. Acts like putting up fences or signs are strong indicators. The court in Abbatangelo confirmed that intention is crucial alongside physical control. If one adverse possessor is replaced by another, their time can be added together. This principle lets possession periods accumulate. even without formal transfer, so long as they are uninterrupted. In Victoria, adverse possession requires 15 years of continuous possession. Under Section 8 of the Limitation of Actions Act, time runs against the title holder. However, under Section 7, it cannot run against the Crown. Adverse possession can't run against future interest holders until their interest vests. Under Section 10 of the Limitation of Actions Act, time runs either from when possession starts against the prior holder or 6 years after the title vests, whichever is longer. Under the Torrens system in Victoria, a successful adverse possessor can apply to be registered as the legal owner. Section 42 subsection 2 of the Transfer of Land Act protects their claim, and Section 60 allows them to register their title. Thank you for watching this video. See you in the next lesson.